In our number 10 spot is Lil Kim. In 2016, she posted a photo of her new look on Instagram, and people were shocked at how drastic the change in her appearance was, especially when comparing it to her early days. She's almost unrecognizable with her dramatically different hair, different skin tone, and totally different face shape. Fans started tweeting that they thought she was perfect the way she was before, and that they feel like they don't even know her now. A board-certified plastic surgeon, Dr. Jennifer Levine, weighed in on the difference and said, "It's clear that there has been some skin bleaching." Kim also would have had to have surgery to remove the fat, skin, and tissue to create her new eye shape. But despite the critiques and comments, Kim said she is unbothered and that she loves the way she looks now. This was all 4 years ago though. She's actually now rocking black hair and has a darker skin tone again, but still looks wildly different than the beginning of her career. Next up at number 9 is Jonah Hill. The actor did one of the most honest interviews of his career back in 2018 when he went on The Ellen Show and talked about his weight loss. Fans were shocked to see him 40 pounds lighter, giving him a completely different look. He opened up about wanting to change his body, saying that because he grew up in the spotlight, he was always criticized for his body and people told him that he was fat and unattractive. A lot of his movie roles that he took on were the fat and unattractive friend. That was like always his humor and go-to character if you think back on his movies. Like, just is what it is. He spoke to Ellen and said, "I spent most of my young adult life listening to people say I was fat, gross, unattractive. I've started to understand how much that hurt and got into my head." He explained that his weight loss didn't come from some magic pill, but that his diet was the problem. He went to see a nutritionist and worked on changing his bad habits. He also began a consistent exercise routine, which he said he had to work up to slowly, day by day. His overall look has changed, which also means that the roles he plays has changed, which is ultimately what he wanted for his career. Sliding into the number 8 spot is Miley Cyrus. Her look is constantly changing, and she has had some of the most dramatic changes simply because people still look at her as Disney's Hannah Montana. For years, people saw her with long brown hair as Miley, and then a long blonde wig as Hannah Montana. So even when she cut her hair shorter as a brunette, people saw it as like this huge change. But what shocked people the most was when she started covering herself in tattoos and she chopped all her hair off into a pixie cut. I've actually never seen a haircut go viral the way that that haircut did. The pictures of her haircut were all over the internet and it was all anyone could talk about. People were freaking out. I was one of them. But with that haircut also came a drastic change in character and behavior from the outside looking in anyways. It seemed like it was her way of breaking free from that Disney persona once and for all, and she could finally just do whatever she wanted and look how she wanted to. Since then, she's changed up her look a few different times. Last year, she grew out her blonde hair and had a whole country vibe going, and now she chopped her hair into a mullet and gave herself bangs. So she's always changing her look. In spot number 7 is Farrah Abraham. The Teen Mom star is by far the most honest celebrity when it comes to her plastic surgery journey. A little too honest sometimes, as she has faced tons of criticism for getting bum injections with her daughter in the room and live streaming it for her followers. True story, I caught one of them one time and her daughter is like 8. Over the years, she has completely changed her look, getting a large amount of plastic surgery done to change the shape of her body and also her face. Fans who started following her at the beginning of Teen Mom would hardly recognize her today. She openly talks about the work she's had done, like enlarging her breasts, enlarging her butt, getting her lips done, and getting other work done on her face. She's not ashamed of these drastic changes she has made, and despite people saying that she's leading a bad example for her daughter, she's not fazed by these comments. She continues to change her look and her overall behavior. What shocked fans the most was when she started doing work in the porn industry, filming videos, and creating her own line of sex toys. Moving on to spot number 6 is Heidi Montag. You may have thought that Farrah had more plastic surgery done than anyone else on our list, but that is where Heidi comes in. The Hill star made news for undergoing one of the most invasive plastic surgery experiences anyone has ever seen. She underwent 10 surgeries in one day, which is often unheard of and oftentimes not recommended. I don't know why these doctors let this happen. Shame on them. Her surgeries were not some small cosmetic surgeries either. They were very big surgeries that actually left her unresponsive on the table at one point, where the doctors did not think she was going to make it. Her long list of surgeries include a brow lift, Botox in her face, a nose job, a chin reduction, fat fat injections in the cheeks, ears pinned back, nasolabial folds, lip, neck, waist, hip, and thigh liposuction, breast implants to a size F, a butt augmentation, and her back curved. Heidi said at the time she actually wanted to look like Barbie and wanted a size H for her breasts, but that they would not fit. Since the surgery, she has spoken up about it and said she regrets it more than anything and wants to encourage people to think twice before getting any kind of work done. She said she felt the pressure of Hollywood at the time and that she wishes she could go back in time and take it all back. We've made it halfway through. At number 5 is Macaulay Culkin. He was once the most famous child star in Hollywood after taking on the iconic role as Kevin in the Home Alone movies. People were probably convinced at the time that he was going to continue to be one of the biggest actors of all time. But then he fell off the map and we didn't hear from him for years. Fans were shocked in 2004 when his mugshot was being shared all over the world after he was charged with possession of marijuana and a controlled substance without a prescription. After that, the only news we ever heard about him was claims that he was struggling with a drug addiction. In 2012, photos started surfacing and he looked very thin, frail, and very, very different. He was never overweight to begin with, but you could tell that he lost a lot of weight and just looked unrecognizable. In more recent years, he has returned to Hollywood, but not in the same way as before. His hair is now really long and his look is completely different than people were ever used to seeing. He doesn't seem to mind though. He still lives a very quiet lifestyle and says that he tries to avoid paparazzi at all costs. Here now at number 4 is Kylie Jenner. If you haven't followed the Kardashians, then you may have thought that Kylie just always looked the way she does now. Or maybe you're thinking there's no way you could ever think that because the work she's had done is pretty obvious. But some people don't realize just how drastic her change has been. Not that I encourage it or think that it is a kind thing to do, but people have made memes about her transformation because she looks like two totally different people. Kylie pictures before cosmetic surgery and makeup would have you convinced that that is not actually her. She has been open about some of her changes, the biggest one being her lips. She said she was always very insecure about her lips, so she actually got her first injections when she was just a teenager. On top of that, her body shape is wildly different, mainly because the majority of it is fake. Her breast and butt augmentations are often talked about because they aren't realistic, mainly because she changed the shape of her body practically overnight. And we all know achieving a body shape like hers would not come naturally like that overnight. Like, how do you nicely say like everything's fake? Taking over our third spot is Janet Jackson. Back in 2019, articles started referring to Janet as a plastic princess after she underwent some plastic surgery. People were stunned as she looked unrecognizable when she stepped out to honor her brother's 10-year anniversary of his passing. The 53-year-old at the time looked totally different, and 3 of the nation's leading plastic surgeons came forward and explained the type of work they think she had done. The overall consensus was that she's had a facelift, eyelid lift, multiple nose jobs, filler, and Botox. One of them said, "Most recently I would say that her face has changed dramatically and I believe she's had eyelid surgery as well as an eyebrow lift." But this is not the first time that she's had work done. People have called her out in the past for altering her looks, but now the changes seem to be more drastic and her face looks more defined and just more fake. And that's not to be rude, it's just that her skin looks tighter and more smooth than her neck and the rest of her body, so the difference is just more obvious according to these surgeons. I mean, sorry to say it. And spot number 2 is Khloe Kardashian. The girl gets a lot of hate for editing her photos and using filters that make her look like a totally different person online than in real life. But her looks have drastically changed in real life too, and she's proud of them. Khloe has opened up during interviews explaining that she's always been called the ugly fat sister out of all of her sisters, and she decided that she wanted to do something about it. She ended up losing a significant amount of weight, which changed her overall body image. It even led to her having her own reality show called Revenge Body, where she helped other people reach their weight goals. Now, there's no denying that she's also had some work done to her body and face on top of the weight loss, so many people would say that she has had the biggest change out of all of her sisters. Her change might even be more drastic than her sister Kylie, who is also on this list. What do you guys think? Let's open it up to debate. In spot number 1 is Adele. Celebrities lose weight all the time, right? So why do people have such an issue when Adele loses weight? I have never seen someone's weight loss make headlines the way that hers has. She flaunted her new body on Instagram, which showed she lost a lot of weight, naturally making her look a lot different. But people had a problem with her weight loss and have spent months criticizing her for it. Things got so bad that her personal trainer, Pete Garasimo, came forward and said when they started working together on her weight loss journey, her goal was to never be skinny, it was to be healthy. She does look drastically different in comparison to the beginning of her career, but she also said that she's the happiest she's ever been, and professionals have come forward saying that her weight loss is not a threat to her health. Adele has even shared her workout and diet plan details during interviews to help others who are also trying to reach their health goals. She looks great! God, leave her alone, she looks amazing.
Starting off at number 10, we have Aubrey O'Day. Aubrey O'Day has been going viral on social media after people have been comparing some recent paparazzi photos to her Instagram photos, and spoiler alert, they look completely different. The paparazzi photos taken of her walking her dog were the first time she'd been seen out in public since October of 2019, and she was literally unrecognizable, especially when in her Instagram photos, her body has basically an entirely different shape. Aubrey has clapped back at the photos, saying the paparazzi ones are doctored. However, after that, just days later, she was spotted at a pool, again looking very similar to the paparazzi ones from before. And apparently it's confirmed that the woman is Aubrey, as the other pool guests heard her saying her name multiple times. And to be clear, I do not want you guys to think that I'm shaming her for the way that she looks, because I absolutely don't want to do that. But I'm gonna shame her if she's photoshopping herself to be a completely different person on her Instagram, and she won't fess up to it. And at number 9, Shia LaBeouf. Shia LaBeouf is someone that we have seen make many style changes over the years, with some of them being so drastic that you truly would not believe it was him at times. He started off with his classic Even Stevens child actor look that we all know and love, but then as he grew up and phased out of child stardom, he grew his beard super long, then at some points grew out his hair too, then buzzed it once. But his style choices were also the talk of many. With him sporting so many interesting fashion choices, I literally cannot even begin to describe them all. One time wearing bright pink leggings, Uggs, and even going out in just underwear at one point. Then there was the infamous time he showed up to a red carpet with a paper bag on his head that said, "I'm not famous anymore." And there were definitely a few points during these style changes where I didn't even recognize him at all. But I think there's one thing that we can all agree on, and that's the fact that the guy has swag. Like, his confidence to pull off some of these looks is just unmatched, and I am so here for it. And at number 8, David Letterman. David Letterman had a long and successful career on TV, and we knew him well for his clean-cut look. However, since his retirement, he looks like a completely different person, with him growing out his facial hair to a full-fledged long beard. Like, I swear he'd be a great mall Santa, you know? And I'm not the only one who has pointed this out, as his new look has been the center of tons of headlines recently, with Jonathan Van Ness even doing a whole segment where he tried to tame Letterman's beard. Because obviously Jonathan is the king of beards, like come on. He's also sporting more of a laid back look, with him often in sweats compared to the suit and tie that we're used to. And at number 7, Aaron Carter. Aaron Carter was a child star, making a name for himself as a teen heartthrob after releasing a few hit singles. But as with a lot of child stars, he eventually lost his shine, with him becoming addicted to substances for many years. And he seems to have come back into the media after he got into some legal troubles with his family. But to the public that knew him from when he was a child star, he's unrecognizable, with him now having plenty of face tattoos and piercings, with just more of a rough exterior in general. However, he still has the same bleach blonde hair that we loved about him before, and I mean, I guess I kinda do too, so I can relate to him on that. And at number 6, Mickey Rourke. The Oscar-nominated actor's face has changed quite a bit since his first days in the spotlight. There's a good reason for this, as before Mickey was an actor, he was a boxer, and his face was damaged multiple times from boxing fights. Telling the Daily Mail in 2009, quote, "Most of it was to mend the mess of my face because of the boxing, but I went to the wrong guy to put my face back together. I had my nose broken twice. I had 5 operations on my nose and 1 on a smashed cheekbone." With a source telling Page 6 that Rourke was planning to go back into the operating room to fix up his nose again in 2015, as well as get new dental implants. Halfway through at number 5, John Finlay. John Finlay probably isn't someone you'll know by name, but if you watched Tiger King, then you definitely know who he is. And if you didn't watch, he was Joe Exotic's ex-husband, who for most of the show was missing a ton of his front teeth. But after the success of the doc, he was able to get a new set of teeth. But that's not the only change, as a tattoo he had during the marriage that said, quote, "privately owned by Joe Exotic," has now been removed, as he covered it up with some other tattoos. He also told people that he just wants to start a new life with his fiancée and heal from the past he had with Joe Exotic. And with his new smile and facial hair, he practically looks like a whole new person, and I personally just couldn't be more happy for him. And at number 4, Miley Cyrus. We all fell in love with Miley Cyrus when she was playing Hannah Montana as a preteen. And in those times, she had a signature youthful look, which included long brown curly hair and conservative clothing. But as time went on and she tried to break the child star mold, she turned into something we all never expected and became completely unrecognizable. When she released Can't Be Tamed is when she got slightly more sexy, but when she released Bangers was when there was a whole new Miley. With bleach blonde, pixie cut hair, way less clothing, and way more controversial dance moves. Miley has been through tons of phases since, being more tame, then more wild. Her current look is completely original, sporting a bleach blonde mullet, and still as scandalous as ever. And at number 3, Kylie Jenner. Kylie is now one of the biggest celebrities on earth, but back when she was growing up in front of the world on Keeping Up, there was a few-year period where I literally had no idea who she was because she looked nothing like the Kylie that I saw on TV. She stayed with her current look for the past few years, but in about 2015 to 2017 is when she had her major changes. And now that she looks like an entirely new person, people are wondering what procedures she's had done, although she did admit to getting lip fillers. We might never know for sure, but people speculate she's had breast and butt implants, an eyebrow lift, Botox, and fillers in her cheeks and chin. But honestly, that's probably the tip of the iceberg. And again, I don't care at all what she does with her body, but it makes me mad that she won't admit to it. And at number 2, Jonah Hill. Jonah Hill was brought to the big screen as his lovable and goofy characters, and where he had his super curly hair and was seen in casual clothes most of the time. But over the last few years as his acting has garnered critical acclaim, he's changed his looks a lot too, and the goofy and lovable teen that he once was is no longer there. With Jonah now a lot more chic with his clothing and hair choices, with him usually having shorter styled hair and a trimmed beard. He's also changed up his eating and fitness habits, and has lost weight because of it, speaking openly in the media about the roller coaster journey with his weight. Starting off at number 10, we have Renee Zellwegger. So Renee Zellwegger shocked fans and other Hollywood elites in 2014 when she showed up to Elle's Women in Hollywood Awards, and people were wondering, what happened to her face? She didn't look bad at all, just a bit different. Then after all the speculation on what happened with Renee, she decided to speak on it, saying, quote, "I'm glad folks think I look different. I'm living a different, happy, more fulfilling life, and I'm thrilled that perhaps it shows. It seems like folks who come digging around for some nefarious truth which doesn't exist won't get off my porch until I answer the door," continuing that she doesn't understand all the interest, as all that's changed is that she's now healthy and peaceful. Personally, I noticed a difference in the way that she looks and talks, so I believe she did have some work done, but if she doesn't want to admit it, then that's her choice. And at number 9, Carrot Top. Comedian Carrot Top looks completely different than he did in his prime, and now he looks pretty unrecognizable. He's best known for his long red curly hair, and he's also known to a lot of people as someone who had a botched plastic surgery. If you look at before and after photos, it's pretty clear he had some sort of facelift, and his eyebrows and just eye shape in general are incredibly different. Along with the facelift, he's rumored to have undergone chemical peels, gotten Botox, filler, and even had his body injected with steroids to improve his muscles. As of now, he's regarded as having one of the worst plastic surgery fails of all time. But the good thing is apparently it hasn't changed his comedy much, and he still has adoring fans that will come see him perform. And at number 8, Heidi Montag. Heidi Montag, who is best known for her days on reality TV show The Hills, is notorious for getting tons of facial and body modifications done to change her innocent look into more of a Hollywood Barbie look. Back in 2010, at age 23, The Hills star revealed that she had undergone 10 body-altering procedures in one day, including a brow lift, a chin reduction, and Botox injections. She allegedly has had work done on almost every part of her body, ranging from neck liposuction to a butt augmentation. She also had a mini brow lift, chin reduction, Botox in her forehead and frown areas, as well as fat injected into her cheeks and lips. And looking at the before and after does show a massive difference in looks. Thankfully though, all the procedures were done well, and she seems to be happy with them all. And at number 7, Meg Ryan. Meg Ryan is someone else that people claim looks incredibly different now, because it's pretty obvious she's had some work done. In 2016 is when she first showed off her new look at the Tony Awards, and everyone was shocked that the woman we had seen in 90s rom-coms wasn't really there anymore. It was pretty evident to everyone that Meg probably got some filler in her cheeks and lips, because they looked noticeably more plump. Meg has always denied that she went under the knife, but I think by looking at the pictures, even though it is somewhat subtle, I think it's still pretty obvious she had some work done. And at number 6, Jennifer Grey. I don't know about you guys, but I've seen Dirty Dancing so many times that I have the image of Jennifer Grey in that movie basically imprinted in my mind. And I think it goes the same for a lot of you, because not only was that movie iconic back then, but it's still beloved now. But the star of the movie looks drastically different than how she did back then. So much that I had no idea who it was when I looked at the pictures of her now. One of the most drastic changes she went through was getting a nose job. And even though I'm sure tons of haters told her that she needed to get it done, it was actually a pretty serious mistake, since her nose was the most recognizable thing about her. When she changed it, it made her look like any other run-of-the-mill kind of girl. And even though she looks beautiful, she doesn't look how she used to. Halfway number 5, Val Kilmer. Val Kilmer is someone that you guys actually commented that I missed when I did part 1, and looking at him now, I can see why. Val was known back in the day as movie star hunk, but now he looks pretty different. A lot of people wondered for years why Val started to look so different, but then he came out admitting that he was battling throat cancer after denying it for years, and saying the reason he's changed so much is because of his diagnosis. He denied being sick for many years, but in 2017, he talked about the changes his diagnosis caused, saying, quote, "I feel a lot better than I sound, but I feel wonderful. I was diagnosed with throat cancer, which healed very quickly. This is a tracheotomy to help me breathe because the glands in my throat swelled up as well." In at number 4, Ariel Winter. Ariel Winter first became known to most people through her role in Modern Family, and she plays an adorable and awkward teenage character coming into her own. But as Ariel has grown up, she looks totally different. In 2015, when she was 17, she was legally emancipated from her parents. She decided to get a breast reduction surgery, telling Glamour in August, quote, "I got it for myself. I can't even really put into words how amazing it feels to really feel right." But her changing looks have caused some to think she had more work done, with people thinking she got lip fillers, cheek fillers, and a nose job. But Ariel denies those rumors. She even clapped back at one hater on an Instagram photo who accused her of having work done, saying, quote, "You're also wrong about all of it, by the way. One breast reduction and I lost weight. But you do you, boo." And at number 3, Jocelyn Wildenstein. The former socialite is best known for having one of the most botched plastic surgery of all time, with one doctor flat out saying, quote, "Jocelyn Wildenstein is a poster child for plastic surgery gone wrong." Apparently Jocelyn, who is known as the, quote, "Lion Woman of New York," reportedly underwent dozens of plastic surgeries, all to win back her husband. So I guess let this be a lesson to everyone to never do anything like this for a man. One doctor believes she had a brow lift, face lift, lip plumping injections, chin augmentation, fat grafting and or cheek implants, upper and lower eyelid surgery, and a catheoplexy, a procedure that elevates the eyes to give them that cat-like appearance, which of course is quite a lot of work. And apparently the woman, who's now over 70 years old, said she's not done with surgery and has an addiction. When she split from Alec Wildenstein in 1999, who is a billionaire businessman, she set a record of divorce settlements and became one of America's wealthiest women. And the craziest part is that she denies having any work done, and says her high cheekbones and long hair is because of her Swiss background. Let me know below if you think it's all natural. And at number 2, Daryl Hannah. Actress Daryl Hannah was another person who people believe was plagued by bad plastic surgery. After photos released of her showed her face looking really puffy and unnatural, everyone was pretty convinced that she had been botched. But Hannah denies having work done. She told Britain's Daily Mail, quote, "There was a picture taken a while ago of me emerging from the ocean with my hair slicked back and no makeup on. I looked as though I had puffy, squinty eyes, and the rumor went round that I had work done. I lost jobs because of it and I thought of suing." But even though she denied surgery, she didn't deny filler or Botox, and doctors now believe fillers are the case of the change, and the filler now dissolving is why she looks more like her normal old self. Plastic surgeon Dr. Richard Fleming of Beverly Hills told Hollywood Life, quote, "Her face looks much rounder. Everything about her face used to be much thinner. Cheeks, jawline, nasal label lines, everything was much more pronounced. In my opinion, there's a lot more fullness and it's not a natural contour. I have no idea what they did, but there is filler material in there." And finally, number 1, Janet Jackson. Janet Jackson's face has changed many times over the decades, and she really doesn't look like she's aged at all. All of these changes and the lack of aging can definitely be attributed to cosmetic procedures, with fans saying that she looks unrecognizable compared to when she was younger. And even though Janet has never publicly admitted to having work done, that doesn't mean that people won't speculate. One cosmetic doctor spoke to Mirror Online, saying that they believe she had a neck lift as well as a nose job to change the tip of her nose. As well, the doctors think she got filler in her cheeks as well as possibly the jawline.